Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the top reverse cultural shocks that I experienced when I went back to the States. The things that I went back home and were always normal there just shocked me, and I was just like, what the? So, the very first reverse cultural shock that shocked me is just the technological advancement in the States. If we're talking about in terms of like technology and innovation, America is kind of the place. There's really no question about that. And I was pretty shocked when I first landed in the States and I saw that there was now an app to do border check-in, border security. It was only for Americans and Canadians, of course, but the fact that, first of all, there was working Wi-Fi in the airport, so Wi-Fi that I could actually connect to, download this app, and register on this app to now walk through border security. It was the most, I don't want to say genius because it was just kind of obvious that that should exist, but instead of waiting in the long lines, whether you be a foreigner or whether you be a resident/citizen, it was completely eliminated in the fact that there is an app for it. There is literally, we say in America, oh, there's an app for that. And it's literally true that by now it seems like there's an app for everything there. And it's always nice when the technology and innovation actually makes your life easier in an obvious way. I mean, I can't see how this app would hurt people, except for maybe there would be less border security workers. I don't know. It was nice. It was nice. And sometimes you just forget, especially living in a place like Italy that is kind of slow when it comes to like adoption of new technologies and adoption of new ways of doing things. I think that really makes the culture shock when I go back home even more evident and even more strong. The second reverse cultural shock was the fact that there were pharmaceutical commercials on TV. That's something that, you know, there always has been. There's been no change, but for me coming back from Italy, it was a reverse culture shock because I think it might even be illegal in Italy to show commercials for medicines and such, whereas when I was back in the States, I was watching the TV just like in passing while I was doing my makeup, and literally every other commercial was a commercial for some kind of drug, some kind of medication, and it's like they read the fine print really quickly to you at the end, and it's like side effects, you might die.
Some people have had changes in behavior, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice agitation, hostility, depression, or changes in behavior, thinking, or mood that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away.
And I don't know, I just thought that was so, I took a step back and I was like, that's really weird that we do that. It's really ugly too, because it just goes to show you that medicine is a commodity in the States. It's a consumer product that you buy and you profit off of and you advertise in the same way that you would advertise like a service or a t-shirt. And I thought that was really weird. Still on the topic of commercials, just the fact that there are some weird commercials in America anyways. Like I saw this one that I'm gonna try to find on YouTube and just insert it in here. It was like nicotine equals brain poison. I mean, you guys from Europe, you guys from Italy, where many people smoke like chimneys, can you imagine seeing this commercial on TV?
Easier, like, come on, what can I do to help you?
Come on, buddy, headphones.
What?
Hey! Okay, all right. What kind of weed?
I said I don't want to talk about it.
Wait. Trey, what are you doing? And the molecules will...
I don't know. It was weird to see. I really don't really have any comment. For me, I just found this commercial in specific weird. Another culture shock for me was the fact that, you know, customer service. And the fact that good customer service, first of all, shocked me and sometimes bothered me. The good customer service shocking me thing is the fact that, I mean, I've talked so many times ad nauseum about customer service in Italy and how it kind of doesn't really exist for multiple reasons. There just isn't this culture of people being slaves to money, I guess, and that money can't buy you good service. I don't know. I really haven't really understood the actual logic behind it yet, but whatever. The point is, people aren't going to, in their job, aren't going to be nice to you just because they're being paid for their job. Being nice to you isn't considered a part of the job for most Italian jobs. Maybe that's the logic. I don't know. You guys can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm sure you will. And so even for things like going to a clothing department, don't expect for people to greet you when you come into the store. Don't expect for people to say thank you or you're welcome when you're paying and stuff. It's just, they don't really do things like that here. So since they don't do things like that here, and it's been like over a year since I've been back to the States, when I get back to the States and there are please and thank yous and smiles and hellos and good mornings and goodbyes, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? That was a big culture shock. And sometimes it gets even kind of annoying because, for example, if you're out eating in a restaurant, in America we have tips, and the fact is, people that work in restaurants don't get a normal minimum living wage. I think people make like $5 to $6 to $7 an hour, and then the rest of their pay is based on tips, and you get tips based on how good your service was. So people will be overly nice and overly try to be a better server in order to make more money and to get more tips. So you'll find that you have very good service in restaurants, etc. But for me, I found it almost kind of annoying because when you're growing up in America, you expect it, you're used to it, and it's just, you don't even notice it. But then when you've been away from it for so long, it's annoying because, like I said in another video, it was at the point where I would be in like deep conversation talking about something, and then the server would just come up and interrupt and be like, oh, is everything good? Yes, everything is good, just like it was good 5 minutes ago when you asked, and 5 minutes before that when you asked again. Like, stop. I'm just trying to get this sentence out of my mouth and you keep interrupting me to ask if everything is good. Related to this, on the other side, there was another point where we were sitting in a bar and there was this woman that was waiting there, and I was waiting there too. We were both waiting to be served, and I kid you not, like 5 minutes after sitting down, 5 to 6 minutes after sitting down, she gets up and she starts heading towards the door, and the server realizes that she's heading towards the door, and the lady was like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave because I've been waiting here for too long. Like, I'm tired of waiting. I think it's ridiculous. And the server was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. How can I make it up to you? You know what? You're gonna get a drink on the house. And the lady's like, no, I don't want a drink on the house. I've been waiting for too long. And the server's like, I really, really apologize. I really hope that you'll reconsider. And like I said, you have a drink on the house. And then the lady was like, fine, I'll sit back down, but you guys should really work on your service. And she sat down and she got her free drink. And this whole scene to me was like an episode of The Twilight Zone, because I'm coming from Milan where that would never ever happen. The server would probably be like, esagerata. Like, or ciaone. Bye. I just don't know why there can't be a middle ground, you know? Like, maybe customers don't have to be exactly rude like the average American, but maybe servers don't have to be actually rude like I feel the average Italian wait staff is. That scene shocked me because I was like, in Italy, you could never. In Milan, you could never. But I'm not in Italy or Milan. I'm in San Francisco, America, and apparently you can get a free drink for waiting too long. I was just observing. It's really interesting to go back and just observe. And you'll be so shocked at how living outside of your nation for such a while, the kinds of things that you miss and the kinds of things that come back and you look at really differently because you're in a completely different context. But yeah, those are my food for thoughts, and those were my top culture shocks for when I went back home to the States. What about you? Where are you from? Where do you live now? And what's the biggest reverse culture shock about your culture that you notice when, going back and forth? I hope that you guys like this video. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. My channel is all about being an immigrant, an expat, an American girl living in Italy, living my life. And if you want more content like this one, you just gotta subscribe. Let's have a discussion down in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in my next one. Mwah.